Can I get an approval of the agenda and addenda for tonight's meeting? I have Smith and then Locke seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Approval of the minutes from the April 2nd, 2024 meeting. I have Locke moves, Hurtado seconds. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. Do we have any public participation this evening? I don't see any members of the public here. So we can move on to board communications. If anybody has anything. No? Okay. Moving on to new business. We've got an update on ITB 2022-008 County Plaza renovation project with Bailey Edward Design and Brian Russo. Sorry.
All right, an update for this month. So our curtain wall is about 95% complete. You can see we have one piece there on the east end to get filled in with the closure metal panels. Other than that, we're on the lower level. We're starting on the doors replacement for the lower level on the north side. So that's progressing well. All the lower level curtain wall windows are installed as of today. So we're trimming those out as weather permits. Coating on the parking deck. That got completed last Friday. So we'll be doing some touch-ups with that, and painting will be starting tomorrow morning for the upper deck. And then we'll follow in with the lower deck in the following week. This is your first floor main entrance. The lobby flooring tile work is started, so they're progressing down the hallways and then over to the accent stairwell on the east side. This is your fire riser connections in the lower level mechanical room. So as of today, all the levels have been pressure tested, and we're starting to put water on the system throughout the building on each level. This is your new switchgear. That got installed. We had that 2-week power outage shutdown. So that work went well. Got all the switchgear. We're now running on the permanent power throughout the building, so that's great. This is your lower level secure evidence rooms. Got the ceilings painted, lights hung. All we're doing left is tinting the floor with a sealer and then putting a wall base on. This is a picture of that lower level curtain wall installation. This is in the sheriff's office. This is the generator pad ready for placement. It actually got set this morning, so I got a picture of that. So our generator is about a 15-month lead item, finally showed up today. So getting that hooked up, getting it ready to be started up and tested as well. This is 5th floor. Interior rooms are getting trimmed out and gridded out, ready for inspections following this week. This is 5th floor again, corridor. Ceiling work is completed up there, just waiting on above ceiling inspection with the city, and we'll do start dropping tile for there. This is 4th floor, door security is going on. Keeping an effort to protect the doors and your new frames. So over the next week or so, we're expecting some door hardware to show up to trim out these doors, and then we have some IT cabinets getting installed as well. Oh, there we go.
There's the IT cabinets.
IT cabinets getting installed and trimmed out. So that's on the 4th floor. This is part of a PR that got approved last month. It was the VCT tile replacement in the north and south lobbies. So this is a picture of that new flooring down. And then this is 3rd floor GIS. The casework is complete. Sink got installed today, so don't have an updated picture of that, but that casework is going well. This is second floor. All the millwork has been installed throughout the building. So these are like your accent panels on the front of the millwork where the lobby guest side would be.
Is this treasures?
Yeah, second floor, yep. And then that's the second floor, kind of the backside shot of that. So countertops, they showed up this morning, so we'll be starting to set those.
That is it.
That is it. I have one picture of the generator if we want to show that, and then we can go into. So there's your fancy generator. So that generator will actually power the entire building in a power outage. So you'll be able to run off of that full system. So, any questions?
Yes, Steve?
Yeah, on the picture with the treasurer's office, the exposed counter there, it looks fairly thick in there. What's that material in there in the counter there?
Here.
Yeah, it's a double wall system, so it's two basically 5 3/4 metal studs with a pony wall, steel support in the middle to cantilever that. So a lot of those walls will have that double wall thickness to create the countertop depth.
Is that drop in height there for ADA compliance?
Correct.
Correct.
Great, okay. Other questions? Jen?
This might actually be a question for Dana. Last month, we had talked about how there was some mystery item hooked into our power, and we didn't know to whom it belonged. When we had that power shut off for 2 weeks, did we hear any complaints? Who was it?
Yeah, it was part of my internet, but that internet also fed the entire downtown office network, so, which is good, we found it. They already made plans to relocate some of that equipment. Luckily, you have nothing inside the building outside of my little line that goes to my office. Other than that, it's in a cabinet that's easily removable outside by the generator pad, so that'll all be removed here in the next month.
Steve?
Just making sure I understood this correctly. Is part of that thickness ballistic panel, since that's the treasurer's office?
Not on this floor.
Not
That's
on that
fourth
floor?
floor and the first floor only.
Okay, thanks.
Steve, the ballistic panels, obviously on the sheriff's floor, but we took the extra that we had, and it's in front of the clerk's windows on the first floor. We
Okay,
had 4 panels left over, had to be cut down.
In your office, too.
Any other questions, comments? Okay. We can move on to the discussion and approval of the change orders for ITB 2022-008 County Plaza Renovation Project. Orders 42, 43, and 44 are attached.
All right, we'll start with 42. This, excuse me, this change order is to provide ventilation at the lower level garage. It will install a louver and CO monitoring for it primarily in the sheriff's area where it's anticipated that the vehicles will be running a little bit longer, where they'll park and then they'll have to upload their data to the building.
Yeah, I can expand on that a little bit. Between the building itself structure and the parking structure was an opening from above on 2 sides. So if you're standing on Broadway on the sidewalk on the west side of the building, you could actually look down and see the officers going in and out of the building on the lower level or doing something else nefarious. So talking through the process of the renovation project with the sheriff, they felt more comfortable if we would put in basically screening, which is CMU, block wall. But we blocked up those openings and we reduced the amount of air that was being brought into the lower level. It's only open on one side, So what this will do, this will put some louvers in where we put the CMU. It'll help bring in a little more fresh air. We have a really big fan that's down in the lower level. It'll help draw it out. But just to be safe, we're also going to put in a couple monitors. So if those officers do leave their vehicles on, as they're downloading all their video and content, we'll have we'll be notified that, hey, we're reaching the limit that we need to deal with. So it was that or spending, we had engineers look at it, and we came up with a really big number to do much more down there that we didn't think was necessary. So we've all agreed, they've signed off on, let's put in the louvers and let's put the monitors, and we'll just monitor the situation and see what we have.
Great. Shall I go through all of them?
Yeah, go through all.
Okay.
We can
All
do
right.
questions at the end.
Okay. Change order number 43 is for some additional outlets or receptacles in the interview rooms on the fourth floor for the sheriff's interview rooms. I believe that he has a new system that he needs to tie into.
Yes. Unfortunately, weren't made aware of the system they were moving to through the planning process. And in the last 4 or 5 months, we're made aware that they needed additional receptacles for this. It's a camera system, basically, that they can tie into both outside of the interview room as well as inside the control room. So it's a minor one, but we need to help the sheriff out by putting that there so they can use their equipment as it was designed for.
And then the last change order, number 44, was to provide power to the air conditioning units that are in the penthouse. That's,
Yeah, so these are, call them mini split, but this will supply the cool air for the switchgear, the motors that are located in the penthouses. The penthouse on the south side has 2 elevators, and the north has 1. Yeah. And in our planning, somehow between the the folks who are dealing with the electric and the elevator, the electric supply was left off, so we've got to put in electric to those.
All right, any questions on any of those?
When did you find this one out, during testing or inspection or what?
The electric?
Yeah. I mean, the missed electrical circuit.
I think we found out about it 2 months ago, and Braun Russo priced out with their sub, Davis Electric, the cost of running electric to it. Went through the normal channels to be approved to get to this point here today.
Yep, as we were wiring up the AHU units, it came to light when we were setting those units that they didn't have power on the electrical sheet to identify where to pull those wires to.
Okay, it's during install?
Yep.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions, comments on those? All right, can we get a motion to approve change orders 39, I'm writing them ahead, sorry, 42, 43, and 44 for the County Plaza renovation project? Mr. Smith and Ms. Locke. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, those pass. Moving on, we can discuss the Braun Russo Minority Employment Report for March on page 25. Take it away, Austin.
Yeah, so I think Dana printed out April's, I don't know which one you're looking at, March or April's. You're looking at April's. Okay, yeah, so April's, this is what we came with. We got this finalized on Friday. Our minority percentage is still tracking around the 13.5%. Our females did drop off this month with the reduced amount of work we have on site. As we're narrowing down to the end, we are still trying to find the female minority workforce. So we're hopeful with some electrical trim out. This coming month, we'll have some females on site to help that number out. But with the work dwindling down, it's harder to find.
Any questions here? Comments, discussion? Oh, Mr. Wilson.
How much more work is left? How many more months do you have actual work?
Ideally, 4 weeks.
4 more weeks and
Yep. If I keep the elevator running to get material to the 5th floor, we'll be in good shape. We're fighting the elevator right now, keeping it running. So.
and then the last thing then is install the elevators after that.
That's not part of my scope, but yeah, that'll be the next step for the team.
Okay. Is there like a walkthrough then in 4 weeks, just for the people that are gonna eventually live there, just to see what it looks like now, or how does that, or you wait till after elevators installed?
We haven't talked about it internally, but I would think we would wait for at least an elevator to be working.
Because there are stairs, but yeah, they're,
Yeah, not everybody can,
okay.
yeah. It's a lot of floors for some people, so we'll,
6 floors.
yeah.
Not everybody's obviously interested in everything, just if you're talking about the folks who work in the building, they're interested in their space. So at a point in time, Steve, Michelle will, I'm sure, put something together that gets folks out to take a look at the facility.
Yeah, I
So
myself
there's
have
only
had,
actually one more report then from you, Austin?
yes.
That's it?
We'll have the keen. We'll see how long the keen gets back. We're still working with the county on the keen and how we want the building keyed. So that might take more than 4 weeks, but the majority of the work will be 99% complete in 4 weeks.
This is probably their last, next month will be probably their last meeting because we don't meet in July. So, I mean, there are a few things that need to be done. Obviously, there'll be a walkthrough in the near future to provide a punch list, which I know he's already working on.
Yep.
He'd like to get on to another project, I'm sure, too.
Enjoy it for a little while. Okay.
All right, any other questions there? We can move on to an update on ITB 2023-005, and that is the update on the elevator renovation project with Bailey Edward.
We just had an update with our, with Otis Elevator this afternoon. The good news is that the machine for the north elevator is planned to ship next week. So that's a full week and a half earlier than what we had anticipated. The unfortunate bad news is that the Otis elevator got a call yesterday that said that there is a delay on the controller. So Otis is trying to pinpoint what part of the controller is being delayed and how much of a delay it is. So they just had not heard back today on that information. We anticipated that they would be on site the last week of May. So we still have a few weeks. Maybe things will turn around, but that's the update I have on the elevator. Everything for the 2 south elevators is apparently still on schedule to be delivered to their warehouse in June.
All right, thank you. Any questions on those elevators? Okay, now with the first elevator that's being installed, is that one that would provide access for walkthroughs if staff, or is that the sheriff's one? I don't remember.
It's
sorry, the
for all,
staff one.
it's the north one, it's all
Okay,
staff
It's
would
all staff one,
be
okay.
using that one. Public would use the ones on the
The
south end.
Right.
This is also the larger elevator on the north that we'll be using to carry everything up and put in place in offices and so forth, so.
It's exciting. Anything else? All right. Carla, stay there. We've got another one for you. Update on courthouse parking lot access control project.
So if you've been by the courthouse, you've seen the gate arms in place. They are raised right now. We anticipate right now the parking lot will be coated and striped on May the 23rd and 24th. That's the Thursday and Friday before Memorial Day. And then we are working with Dana and the county to get some barriers on the other side, and then we can, it's just a matter of getting the computer program in place and then getting card issued. Is there anything else?
Yep. I don't have an update from IT yet on that, but I did talk with MC the other day, and he seemed optimistic that we'd get it done quickly. I think the cards are being programmed by the vendor,
That is my
so
understanding.
we'll get 100 cards that are already programmed. I'm hoping to go live for the folks at the courthouse the day after Memorial Day. They'll be getting a communication later this week and then a reminder notice the week of the resealing and the painting that where to park for those 2 days. We targeted those specific days just because it's a high-traffic weekend for folks to get out of town. Oftentimes, we see very little car traffic at the courthouse, as well as our other buildings. Folks just like to try and take a 4-day vacation or break if they can. So we'll be getting communication out. We're hoping to provide parking access at the plaza if Braun Russo will sign off on it. And hope to know more about that later this week. If not, we've got other recourse that we can come up with for staff, so.
This might be a little bit of an in-the-weeds question, but what is the policy we'll be taking on those cards? Is that going to be a cost that if somebody loses, that facilities will be incurring to replace it, or is that something we're going to ask staff to take care of?
We do not have a policy on keys or cards. I can tell you that is a topic of discussion. Brought it up today in a staff meeting, and we do need to come up with a policy. I don't think we can come up with a policy that makes it the responsibility of the employee, but I think we can make it the responsibility of the department.
Okay, yeah, I heard you talking about programming cards and my dollar signs in my brain were
Yeah. And one of the
racking
reasons,
up there.
sorry. One of the reasons we brought it up today was because the keys that Austin mentioned, lock system is the best system, and that's a name brand that's not the best or system that's out there. It is a very good system. But it's a system we cannot cut keys for. They have to be cut by a locksmith, and the keys are guarded by the company. So they're going to be a little bit more expensive. So if someone does lose keys, or if someone leaves, really put the onus on the department to make sure that we get the keys back. And if we don't, then the department will have to pony up for the expense. But it's not as cheap as being able to buy the keys direct from Schlag or whomever and cut them ourselves, so.
Any other parking lot questions? Okay. I think that's it for you, Carla. Thank you, yes.
Yeah, thank you.
So we now have an update on ITB 2022-009, satellite jail consolidation. I know that Chris is going to present that
That's
with
me,
Dana
actually.
today,
Chris is going to help me. He's going
with the
to
photos, yes.
get the photos ready. So while he's doing that, I just tell you that our contractor could not be here tonight. He's actually been out for about 2.5 weeks and emergency surgery. He's doing okay. We hope to get him back in another week. His able assistant doing a great job, so we're moving forward over there. And our architect son is playing in a band recital tonight, and I felt it was more important for Dad to be at the recital than to necessarily be here when I can hopefully answer your questions. So take you through the first set of photos. So what you see up there right now is the new parking lot, additional parking lot for the staff. This is on the north side of the building, kind of by that big fence where you see vehicles park. It's actually been poured now. Stark was a subcontractor for PJ Herr. They were in doing a lot of concrete work this past week and this week. And that is in shape and looking great. Picture 2 is a sidewalk view from the parking lot, that new parking lot you just saw, looking at the back end of the new part of the jail. It's where the employees will come in. That's the sidewalk they'll use to enter the facility and from that new parking lot. Picture 3 is the new generator for the satellite jail. That's taking a load of the 27,000 square feet that's been added on, plus some of other things that were not covered in the old portion of the building. We do not have 100% coverage in the building, unlike the plaza, but we've got enough to take care of the important things, access control, computers. It does not power the kitchen, but they can deal with that. Picture 4, that's the south end of Satellite Jail. So if you're looking from the Brookins parking lot right out here in front of Putnam, looking north, that's what you see. Picture 5, I mentioned Stark. We've got 2 outdoor rec areas that have been built. We got fencing that will need to be put up yet. This is the south outdoor rec. This was a change order as well. It was one of the earlier ones. It was originally designed to be on grass, and we just felt like we got to get a mower in there. I mean, grass can hide a lot of things. We'd be better off pouring concrete, putting the fence in sleeves and the concrete, which will happen, and then put a good sized gate. It'll have a kind of a fence roof. It'll have a roof that folks can't get out of, but it'll at least be outdoors, and that's on both sides of the building. Picture 6. This is the north indoor rec. There's a south indoor rec. There's 2 pods, if you remember the layout. So it's indoor space for inmates to wander around. That's open sky. There will be some, I haven't seen it yet, but it's a fencing material put up. Again, just to make sure nobody can try and climb out. They'll be able to see through it. If it's raining, they'll get wet, but that's an outdoor rec. Picture 7.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Picture 7 is the other side. This is the north outdoor rec. Same amount of concrete. So again, we'll put in fencing and put a cover over the top that keeps them in. Photograph 8. That is the main corridor that runs east and west through the building. So it connects up to the original building and then takes you through, kind of splits the pods in half. It's coming right along, ceiling grids in. Ceiling tiles will be put in after they do the flooring. They'll put a epoxy base down on the floor, as you'll see in the next photograph, picture 9. This is pod D, and this is a security area, so this is where the officers at the end of the picture there will be, and they have a full vision of Pod D and the inmates and the various housing units that they have there. If you look at the right side of the floor, you can kind of see I'd call it a granite look, but that's an epoxy-based flooring system that's being put everywhere in the building. Picture 10 is a day room in Pod D. See the inmate cell doors and the day room. It's where they'll put in furniture. It'll be bolted to the floor, tables, chairs, etc. Picture 11 is a close-up photo of Pod D security room, again, where the officers will be. Sorry?
One security room per pod?
One security area in the pod that the officers are able to control. There'll be a panel there. They can control the doors there, and then master control will have control of everything else. Picture 12 is Pod D. It's day room, and it's D1. This is an ADA shower. There's an ADA shower in each of the new pods, as well as ADA cells. Picture 13. Next one up, I think.
Is it?
Yeah.
No?
Sorry, go back to the last
Yeah,
one.
go
I
back
think
to
you were
when you were
right.
at.
Yeah.
There you go, sorry. So Pod D, D1, this is day room. Just kind of the other side of that you just looked at.
What are those, sorry, just jumping in before the end with a
Yep.
question. Are those little stools on the left side of the wall?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Picture 14, Pod D, this is D2, and it's a day room, and you can see a shower there on the right-hand side. There are, just give you a concept, there are 6 small rooms, not rooms, but day rooms basically in each of the pods. So they're tied together, but they're not, so. And picture 15 is Pod D, it's a mechanical chase behind the showers. So it gives you a little idea about what's been going on.
There's separate mechanical.
Could you use your microphone, Jeff?
Yeah, so there's separate mechanical chases?
Yeah.
For each pod, each shower?
There's a, yeah, it's it's everything. So we have a total walk around. I've got a map someplace. Unlike the current facility, when this was being designed, what we wanted was to be able to walk in behind each of the shower toilet areas,
Yeah.
take care of the mechanical problems without actually having to enter the cells or the day rooms.
Yep.
So this is one contiguous circle around, if you will, the Pod D and Pod C.
Okay, thanks.
Some things are going on, epoxy flooring's been going down right now in the C pod, so it's a big area, so not a lot's getting done there. Ceiling work in the medical areas and medical cells. Casework for the buildings being delivered tomorrow. Yeah, sorry. Start being installed next week. And then poly jail furniture, all the furniture will be delivered. This is for cells, so we're talking floor mounted tables, chairs, beds, etc. We'll start going in next week. So they're moving along. A lot of earthwork was done late last week and early. They're moving black topsoil around, finishing up, and they hope to by middle to latter part of June to be able to at least have Pod D done and complete, and allow Captain Vogus to allow her staff to come in, do some training, and shortly thereafter, hopefully move some inmates over so they can start work in the main jail.
Stephanie?
Then maybe in the June meeting, can we do a talk tour? We haven't done a walkthrough of this one
Are we
yet.
ready for a walkthrough of the new space? yet,
Probably we
or-
need to do it before we start moving people in, if we're gonna do it.
We'll work on that. Can't communicate that. But yeah, I think we can make that happen.
Oh, we have done a walkthrough. I did a tour before of the space that is occupied, so I know it's possible. But yeah, I know if from a construction standpoint, this is an entirely different kind of trip, it probably would be good to do. My random question, because I don't have the map in front of me either, the hallway between the pods, the doors that are off of that, was that office space or are those the, like the medical or, I can't,
There are offices there. There's also the medical wing, storage. There's an IT area. So
thank you, that's why I thought I remembered, but it's hard to tell with just the gray hall. So, other questions, comments? All right, thank you for the update on that. We've also got some change orders for this one. We could do those. Discussion and approval of change orders for ITB 2022-009, Satellite Jail Consolidation Project. That's change orders 39, 40, 41, 42, and 43. Do you want to just go through all those and we can
I'll
vote
try
them
and get us
together?
through those. Okay. 39 is to provide emergency power for temperature control switches, firefighter smoke control station, and to relocate a fire alarm control module to the tune of $8,117.76. Change order number 40 is actually a credit. And this credit is, we deleted a security mesh in the ceiling in rooms 157 and 159 and just modified the ceiling. Didn't think that was necessary. The mesh is expensive. Ceiling's high enough. So we felt comfortable, as well as the captain, in eliminating that, and we saved $4,606. Change order number 41 is a big one. We did talk about this some time ago, but this is for the booking area, and this is replacing their casework, where the actual inmates, it's trying to make it a little more friendly, if I can say that right. There's electric, there's plumbing involved here, there's some painting involved here, but it's replacing all of the current booking area for the project. It really is needed. Their area right now is, it's tough. If you're brought in for whatever reason and you gotta sit there and you're talking back and forth across what's there now, it's pretty tough and unforgiving, so to speak. So this was brought up to us by the sheriff as well as Steve. Definitely wanted to make this happen, so we're in great shape in terms of financially with our budgeted change orders. We're only at 60,000 and some change off a $22 million project, so we're doing really well. Change order number 42 is security caulking at the ceiling deck seams in cells, and we actually did speak to this some time ago, but this is for both pods D and C. So this is $14,333.55, but we changed the caulking between the decks to that real hard caulking that they can't pick at and move around, so. Change order number 43, $20,939.10. Carrie Tappan Bogus brought up that in the medical area in cells 110 and 111, and the rest of the skylights, they're putting in a mesh at the bottom of the skylight. Skylights up at the roof, mesh is down at the bottom where the ceiling is. These two areas are low enough that they're very worried that by having a mesh screen there is something that they could put something in there to hang themselves. So they want to put in glass screening, which will alleviate that. It'll let the light in, but you can't do anything else with it, so. Those are the change orders that I'd like to move forward. Any questions?
No, seeing none. Take a motion to approve change orders 39, 40, 41, 42, and 43 for ITB 2022-009 Satellite Jail. I got Locke moves and Smith seconds. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, thank you. Okay, discussion of the PJ Her Minority Employment Report for 2024. We're gonna
Should have taken that off. And,
hold off on
my
that because they're
apologies,
not
I should have
here.
revised the
Right.
agenda, but with Matt Brown's being out, they have not been able to put together a pay application with the information for the report. So I did talk to Matt's assistant today, and they hope to have a pay app done by Monday or Tuesday of next week. So we'll get it in June.
That's understandable. All right, thank you. Moving on to discussion and award of contract for County Highway Department Section 23-00469-00RS Metcad Parking Lot Renovation Project.
Okay, as part of our capital asset fund projects for the year, we have on the schedule to upgrade the parking lot and the two entry ramps off of Main Street and Art Bartel for both Metcad, the parking lot all the way around the building, as well as the portion of parking lot, it's the same lot, that abuts to election supply, as well as our physical plant. We allow, or we actually, since we have experts sitting in our own county highway department, we had them put this information together in terms of, we took coring samples, came out and measured, surveyed it. They put the bid document together. They're working on a similar project for the Salt Dome. So we bid them out together. County Highway put it out. We had two bids. Felt good with the pricing. We budgeted $225,000. And the low bidder, Cross Construction, came in at $162,078. The high bidder was $197,000. It's open road. I asked the question to the county engineer as to, now, what did we do to try and, get additional contractors? I said, well, highway's a little bit different than your construction. For these type of projects, all of these contractors, nobody from outside the county is going to submit a bid, nor will Open Road or Cross Construction submit. Now, if it's a state or a federal, then all bets are off. But so we have two bidders. Again, I feel really good about the price. They estimated, County Highway estimated the price to be somewhere between $192,000 and $213,000 was their estimate.
For both parking lots or per parking lot?
It's,
Could you use the microphone, please?
this is just the,
Yes.
Yeah, so the question was it both? No, this is just for the Metcad parking lot. They got pricing that's separate for the Salt Dome.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry for the confusion.
Could you repeat those numbers? Their estimate was between? Their estimate was between what dollar amounts?
County Highway's estimate after they did all their, put all their information together, what we wanted to do, what all needed to be fixed and repaired, at what depth. Their estimate was, gosh, what did they say? Is that 100?
Well, it says right here-
213 was the high, and I believe
192, you said? 192 at 213?
192, I
Was
think.
that, yeah, I think that
it was
was what you said.
192 or 183.
All right,
and
thank you.
213. Just so you know, Cross Construction has done work for the county before. Nothing big for the physical plant, but they certainly do work for County Highway. And they are an excellent contractor and perform good work.
So there are no concerns about their price being, or their bid being significantly lower than? Steve, sorry?
It's just a function of work. I believe Open Road, who I worked for a number of years, has a busy schedule. And per the number of contractors, there are only two companies in Champaign County that have asphalt plants. One is Cross, one is Open Road. So other companies could bid on it, but they'd have to haul asphalt from some distance. That's not good, and it's expensive.
That sounds like it. Stephanie?
I just see the IDOT like logo on everything on this one. Is that, can you like explain to me the relationship? Like, is IDOT paying for it? Are we paying for it? Like, is it, yeah, I just was curious about that.
I think the IDOT, I think they're using a form from IDOT. Okay? So we, the county, are paying out of our capital campaign fund. This is a project that we built in a number of years ago, and the lot itself is just, it's a little bit worse shape than the upper lot here at Brookins. So, but we are taking care of it and paying for it. So this is just a form.
Mr. Wilson?
Thank you. I don't know what page number this is. 48, I think. Page 48. Page 48 is for the Salt Dome or Metcad. Somehow I'm not finding the title. Maybe I'm just not
Okay,
reading it.
page 48 is the is the Metcad.
Okay, 48 is Metcad. And on this page, you have Cross and Open Road, the two different prices, the overs and unders. And where's the one for the Salt Dome?
I didn't have that. I don't have that because that's not our project.
Oh, I thought we were doing
We're just doing
Metcad only.
Metcad.
Salt Dome later.
Salt Dome is county highways.
Salt Dome is County Highway, okay.
Yeah, I know that's confusion because going to county highway, having them put the project together and then bidding it out is.
No worries.
No, I
it
see your
does save us
confusion.
dollars.
It
Yes.
mentions Salt Dome throughout the
Yeah,
paperwork a
so
few
it's showing
times here,
Salt Dome
so.
in the back. I'm thinking,
Right.
okay, where is it? Where is it? So the Salt Dome comes through the highway, and comes through what? Cal? Where does it come through?
That's a
Anybody
good
idea?
question.
Or-
I don't know.
Highway Department.
Highway is a separate committee, so COW is just Policy and Personnel, Finance, and Justice and Social Services. So you'll see usually all the highway stuff is rolled up on the full board. So,
Highway, own committee, own decision,
yep.
and then it just becomes a
if it's, yeah, if it requires county board, it would be on consent. If it's, unless of course it wasn't either unanimous, or sometimes committees will pull something that they want the full board to weigh in on. ELIC does that a lot.
Jeff, your microphone. Microphone, please.
And so the salt dome is still part of the facilities plan, but it's managed by highway.
Managed and it's funded by highway. Managed and funded by highway. You get me
Okay,
doing it now.
managed and funded by, okay, I'm getting my dots connected here. But it's still on the facilities plan, right? I mean, it's right here, it's on the facilities plan, so, because it's our facility. Okay,
It is, but you'll see in there should be a column for highway funded.
it does say, well, it's colored blue. Okay, insurance or other, that means other is them. Thank you. Man, I'm learning so much tonight, okay.
I'm not trying to cause problems, by the way. I am completely deaf on my right side, so especially for this side of the room, when you forget to turn your microphone on, it's a struggle for me to hear what's happening. So, Mr. Smith?
Hey, Jen. I think part of the confusion, if you look in the package, like on page 60, 62, 63, it says Salt Dome parking lot. So it's hard, maybe we want to fix that title on the forms. It'd be a little clearer, a little more straightforward.
Well noted. We'll, if we do another project with them, hopefully we do, we'll make sure that it's clearly stated in there, but I think they're just rolling it together, and their document clearly showed that, the document that they asked to submit pricing on clearly showed that you're breaking it into two projects.
Ms. Locke?
We don't have to use the same company that bids for highway. If highway accepts a bid from one, we, for our lot that we're funding, that we're voting on tonight, we can pick whichever one we want tonight, right? And if highway decides to go with the other one, or is there a recommendation from highway's more expensive project or our more expensive project? Which
Well,
one? Or is it all the same and we should just come together with highway and figure it out?
The low bidder on our project for MedCAD is Cross Construction. So it's $35,000 cheaper than Open Road. Open Road, as Steve mentioned, they've got an awful lot of projects going on. You know, I would prefer going with Cross Construction for the price. I know that they'll do a great job because we've done work for us before. So I would advise the committee to select Cross, and we save $35,000. So.
That was my inclination too. I just wanted to make sure that we weren't going to be like, well, this price is only good if it's for both projects that were bid out at the same time. Okay, thank you.
May I speak, please? Because when I read through this, I'm just going to pick at this. So it's, a lot of this conversation is about the Salt Dome parking lot. That's why I'm asking these questions. A lot of stuff in here is about the Salt Dome parking lot, but we don't care about that
No,
for this meeting.
I think maybe we just shouldn't have had that part in the packet. I don't think we're concerned with that right now specifically. We're talking just about MetCAD tonight.
Okay, so then I'm just going to ask the next question then. So the material breakouts, item numbers, units and quantities, was that specified by our engineer and then the bidders just priced it out?
It is specified by the engineers.
Okay.
That's why we went to the trouble of coring, taking samples, thoroughly analyzing the lot. The core sample is real important because if we don't have to go down 4 inches depth and repair some subsurface, that's a savings of money. So, again, we let our our engineers, our own county engineers, put the project together. This is what they do. They put these projects together, these road projects or bridge projects. They specify absolute everything. So, you know, cross construction, I'm sure has an engineer or two, but the projects put together, they are totally bidding on product and placement.
Okay, thanks. I'm not discounting our own engineering services. I'm just trying to understand it. So then, in other words, when the eventual change order shows up and they talk about material quantities, then you use these prices or the expedient price?
If there would be a change order for some reason, it would be at this price.
Steve?
I may be incorrect, I don't think so, though. It looks like Highway bid this as one project, divided into two sections. So where it says Salt Dome parking lot, you could put a line between dome and parking lot because it's both. The Salt Dome isn't a parking lot. So this is two projects kind of bisected. So they're not trying to fool you by adding Salt Dome and parking lot. It went to the contractors, come out and look at these projects for us.
Mr. Smith?
I just want to back up what Steve was saying. If you compare page 48 to page 65, you can see the material for the Salt Dome parking lot, and you can see what was planned for the Metcad parking lot. So it appears to be both combined together. The polymer HMA binder and surface, that's intended for the Salt Dome parking lot, which would be the third and fourth line items on page 48. So I see what Steve was saying.
So then would this project price here be broken down further? If that's got materials? No? Okay.
That's the price.
Okay.
This is material.
Okay. Other questions, comments? So we're looking at, the recommendation is to move forward with cross construction. Do we have a motion to approve? Ms. Locke? Second, Mr. Smith? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes. Thank you. And that is moving on to other business. I do have one item. Steve had received communication about the African American Heritage Trail. Experience CU wants to place another sign at the courthouse because that's our property that we manage. We would need to approve it. I believe we would discuss here, but then we can't approve here, can we? Because that wasn't on the agenda to vote on it. So I'm hoping that we can discuss it here and then move it forward to the full board as a group and get that on the agenda. Does that sound what the expectation would be? Okay.
Yeah, and if you'd like, Chair, I'm happy to talk about who the sign honors.
Yeah, I would love for you
Because
to.
we talked about appropriate placement. There'd been some discussion at our agenda setting meeting about whether it should be at the plaza, it should be at the courthouse. The sign is going to be honoring James Burgess. He was the first African-American state's attorney in Champaign County. So it makes eminent sense to have it at the courthouse.
And they have sent us over the draft sign text. I can forward that out to the Facilities Committee so you can all read it in more detail, but it talks through his biography, born in Tennessee, served in the Army. He first worked as an attorney in Cook County before joining the Champaign County State's Attorney's Office in 1969. History was made in 1972 when he won the election, becoming the first African-American in Champaign County elected to a countywide office and the first African-American state's attorney anywhere in Illinois. So a little bit more about him and his life here. He died in 1997 at the age of 81, but his legacy as an active and influential member of his community lived on. In 2014, President Barack Obama signed into law legislation that designated the U.S. Post Office at 302 East Green Street in Champaign as the James R. Burgess Post Office Building. And then there's a photo of him here. I'll forward that out so you can read the full text. The proposed location that they had sent out was, trying to explain this. Maybe you can explain it better than me. I pulled up the picture here. There's already a sign, and I should have put this on a drive. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Dana, you go ahead.
So they proposed very close to the Lincoln Heritage sign. So this is in front of, or just off to the east of the Richmond Tower, if you will, tower entrance. So below the clock, just to the west of that is the monument with the flags and so it's a good location. It's in a building that he worked at a building. It's in front of the old building. So I think that's got significance. He obviously never saw the new building, so I think it gives it's a nice location.
I just want to say I'm walking around real quick to show everybody the photo because I did not load it to put up on the screen. So any thoughts, questions, concerns on that? Ms. Locke?
Obviously, we are just talking about it tonight, but I support putting it up. I've really liked seeing these go up all throughout the community, and I'd love to see one this significant put on the courthouse.
Yeah, I would like to see this on the full cow agenda so that we can read through that again and read the full text of the sign, if people don't mind us taking a few minutes out of the time. But I would like to have it recognized widely at that meeting. So, Ms. Furtado?
Just point of information, it'd be at the full board agenda.
Full board. I think I said full cow, sorry.
Yeah.
Full board, yes. Okay. So, yes, we would like to move forward with putting that on the full board agenda for our May meeting. And that was my only other business. Do you have something, Dana? Steve?
Yeah, Dana? Oh, we'd reached out to, there was some question whether or not the fund for maintaining the clock tower could be used for the plaque that had been discussed at the last county board meeting. I reached out to Steve Beckett. Steve seems to think that there's adequate latitude in the language for us to be able to still use that. I talked briefly with Dane about the cost of the sign. He estimates it at around $1,000. So if there's issues paying for it, I'm sure the county board will be willing to do that, or we could just get Steve Beckett to pay for it. I'm sure he'd be happy to.
Okay, and then just to back up on the signage, that was not to be paid for by us. We're just offering our permission to have it on the courthouse property, and we're approving the location and the verbiage. That's being paid for by Experience CU.
We've made some ARPA
Right.
contributions for this. They may be coming back to us to ask for more, but we've already made some contributions for this project. Yeah.
Right. But that's for the trail in general, not specifically
Yeah,
for
correct.
the signage.
Correct.
Okay. So I have no other business beyond that. Our next meeting is June 4th at 6:30. The items to be placed on the consent agenda are 6B, G, and I. And then we are adjourned at 7:35. Thank you.